Former President Donald Trump's surprise witness in the hush money / election interference case against him might have actually done more to help the prosecution than the defense.
Oh no!
On Monday, Trump's defense team first called Robert Costello to the stand, and things went south very quickly and didn't get any better on Tuesday. Now, the first issue, of course, on Monday was the whole bringing in of Costello in the first place. He and Michael Cohen do have some history. There are some email exchanges between them. And at one point, Costello was supposed to be Cohen's lawyer. So now the defense must have believed that Costello would be able to counter Michael Cohen's testimony and paint him as somebody who can't be trusted, a liar, and someone who's making things up, et cetera, right? Now, Judge Merchan was a bit skeptical of Costello's involvement due to the questions of relevance here. But Trump's attorney, Todd Bove, insisted that his testimony was essential during a sidebar on Monday without the jury present. So now there were a couple of instances where things got pretty heated, one of them having to not involve the jury being in the same room. So now, according to reporters, Costello got a lot of frustration, okay, and expressed this frustration. For example, when there were sustained objections, he had muttered "geez" into the microphone. Other outbursts include like him saying this is absolutely ridiculous, et cetera, right? Rolling his eyes, and even at one point staring down the judge. So now, Justice Merchan had to ask him, what did you just say? What did you just say? Because at one point, the sustained objection, Costello had tried to direct the court by saying, strike it. As in, like, strike it from the record. Costello's a witness. He's a lawyer, but he's not a judge. So he's not running the courtroom. And yet, he's on the witness stand trying to direct the courtroom. Merchan was not taking it very well. And during another sustained objection, Costello had huffed and glared at Justice Merchan, saying, Merchan responded by asking, are you staring me down right now? And then said, that's it. Clear the courtroom. We're done with this. We're done. In fact, his statement is, Mr. Costello, I'd like to discuss proper decorum in my courtroom. As a witness on the stand, if you don't like my ruling, you don't see geez, and you don't say strike it, because I'm the only one who can do that. And if you don't like my ruling, you don't give me side-eye. So, I mean, Merchan laying down the law here, that dressing down apparently left Costello, according to reporters, as red as a strawberry. Love it. So now, I don't think Costello, his appearance here, his little performance is going to play well for the jury, but it did play well for an audience of one, and that would be Donald Trump, who I guess got what he wanted to see out of Costello. All right. So now MSNBC host and legal analyst Katie Phang writes, although the dressing down of Costello took place outside of earshot of the jury, they witnessed firsthand Costello's demeanor and petulance and heard firsthand his quips and remarks from the witness stand. So that, again, plays well for Trump, not so well for the jury. MSNBC legal analyst Christy Greenberg noted Cohen was respectful, doing a comparison between Cohen and Costello. Bob Costello is acting like a clown. Jurors will note this, and this will hurt Trump. Any concerns that jurors may have had about Cohen have now been overshadowed by Costello's disrespect to the judge right in front of their faces. In fact, you have CNN attorney David Oscar Marcus, who went even further in this next clip.
What a devastating day for the defense, right? It should have been a positive day for the defense, ending with this terrible witness, Michael Cohen. And now it was just an awful day for the defense. When a witness tells a prosecutor something like speak into the mic, all the jurors, and you saw two of them, are going to side with the examiner, with the prosecution there, and not side with the witness. So It's just terrible the way it went down. And the weird thing is Costello knows better, right? He's a lawyer. He's been in that courtroom, in that courthouse. He knows better. So just an awful, awful day. And, you know, the defense took a big risk here and struck out very badly.
So the guy is right. I mean, Costello should know better, but was performing for an audience of one. One person thinks he nailed it, and that's Trump. It's the kind of thing he wants to see because, look, he wants to yell at the judge. He hates this case. He hates the process. He hates everything. The jury, probably. He thinks he's completely above it all, shouldn't even be there. He thinks the case against him is weak because of Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is enemy number one. So now, here's the thing. The issue is that the jury has much more than just the calm testimony of Michael Cohen, who withstood a lot of pressure, personal attacks, and you know, all of this, again, all of this pressure from Trump allies, and stayed very, very cool. All right. So now, in addition to Cohen's testimony, they have actual evidence, paper documents, video, electronic messages, such as tweets, and again, witness testimony from other witnesses like Stormy Daniels, for example. Even if the jury doesn't trust Michael Cohen, and there's really no reason that they should trust Michael Cohen because he's look, he is a dishonest person. He has perjured himself and, you know, has done a lot of very questionable things, working for Trump and also not working for Trump. I mean, he stole $30,000, right, from the Trump organization. So he's not to be trusted on his word alone, but they don't have to trust his word alone because they have the evidence. They have all of this documentary evidence that backs them up, showing that this is a hush money / election interference scheme. Look, the records and testimony all show that the money paid to Michael Cohen was not recorded as a reimbursement for paying off Daniels, but instead as non-existent legal work. That's it. The election interference part of this comes down to the timing. This was right after the Access Hollywood tape drops, and Trump's worried about losing the electoral support of women. And you got to look at how they treated Stormy Daniels in her in the cross-examination of her by the Trump defense team. The more they tried to basically slut-shame her, the more they accidentally emphasized the reason that Trump would want to hide this entire thing from women voters. Period. The other issue, of course, with this defense was their failed Perry Mason moments. Once again, dealing with Cohen, where Cohen kept his cool, and the defense lawyer who was cross-examining him blew up on the stand. You're a liar! And then, of course, getting back to Costello, who was a clown, and, according to his own emails, undercut his own credibility. During cross-examination, Costello's emails were used to show his close ties to Rudy Giuliani and the attempts to pressure Cohen into, you know, not ratting out to the FBI. Despite his attempts to deflect and discredit Cohen, Costello ultimately admitted that he was referring to Trump during one email exchange dated April 21st, 2018, which pressured Cohen to take Costello on as his lawyer right as the FBI had begun investigating him. That email said along the lines of, hey, don't worry, you've got nothing to worry about. You have friends in high places. I wonder who that refers to. Not only that, but just like on Monday, Costello's demeanor in court has been criticized by both the prosecutor and the judge, and probably doesn't look very good when it comes to the jury. His testimony before Congress was also questioned as potentially intended to intimidate Michael Cohen during the trial. So, look, obviously we know this is all going to come down to the jury and what they've seen and the evidence, you know, and everything that they take into that room with them to decide the future of Donald Trump. I don't think Costello helped his case whatsoever. I think it was a desperate play, and it backfired right in their face. This is a good example of someone, you know, being as bad as Michael Cohen is, and yet Trump showing that he's always got someone else worse that's going to do his dirty work for him.